Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Glasgow Airport. In this video we're going to be taking the A2A Simulations Comanche from Glasgow Airport up to Inverness across some beautiful scenery. We're really lucky with the weather today. This is live weather, and it's nice to see the sun out, and it's nice to see some blue sky, and I'm really hoping that we are going to be able to get to see the ground. The A2A Comanche is the pinnacle of GA aircraft in the simulation, in my book anyway. It's a beautiful aeroplane, and we're going to have a great flight. Now, I should say at this point, this is not a tutorial. I'm in no way an expert. Just because I make YouTube videos doesn't mean I'm an expert. I make YouTube videos while I'm learning and for your entertainment. So let's climb on board and let's take this beautiful aeroplane up into the Highland air and see where it takes us. Right, well, let's start today's little adventure. First of all, let's get rid of the twangy thing. And we've got Squadron Dog number 2 with us, still as yet unnamed. I've got to think of a name for him. It's getting a little bit embarrassing, and he's useless at closing doors. So let's just do that. Right, let's pull up the. Some people I've seen, not in comments on my videos, but I have seen some people, and they tend to be the types that probably still are using P3D and look down on MSFS. They have a little bit of an issue with the fact that in MSFS you can fly with a dog in your cockpit. For those people, if you're still watching, which I actually doubt very much, here we go. I've actually put the weight of the dog in, so there you go. There is some realism in there somehow, and this is very much just a chilled out flight from Glasgow up to Inverness with Squadron Dog number 2, and we will think of a name for you, mate. Don't you worry. Right, so let's come back here. Let's get to the checklist. Right, we need to do the walk around, so that's absolutely fine. I'm going to get rid of that because that gets in the way. What I'm going to do first of all is, let's get the walk around here. I'm going to pop round here. There we go. And I'm going to remove the pitot head protector. And then we'll come back here, and no, we'll go back here, and I'm going to pop the master on, going to pop the pitot heat on, and also we're going to check the lights. And we'll whack the strobe on as well, and whack the rotating beacon on. By the way, this is in no means a tutorial. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes. I tend to try and point out my mistakes if I realise I've made them. If you're the type who don't like people like me encroaching on the hallowed ground of IFR flying and all that sort of thing, and mistakes and things like that wind you up, then I would stop watching this video because I will make mistakes. Whole point of this is I'm still learning. It's a bit of fun. It's a nice relaxed flight, and that's what it is all about. So let's jump to this point. We are just checking the lights at this point, so the nav lights are working fine. Landing lights working well. Let's then come over to this point. No. Oh, yep, that's fine. So we can check the strobe. Strobe is working absolutely fine. Quick look over here. Let's check the pitot heat. Yep, that's on. Obviously, they haven't simulated the ability to heat something up yet from the simulator, so that red glow just shows us that it's hot to the touch. Landing light is fine. Our port nav light is on, so that's all tickety-boo. And let's run back here, and we can see our rotating beacon is on as well. And our lights on the tail are also illuminated. So lights and pitot heat are working nicely. So we can pop back in because we don't want to burn anything out, so we can turn all these off. Turn off the nav lights and master switch off. And now we can do the proper walk around. The reason I do that first is so that we're not wasting battery. This is ATC, so it will simulate the battery running down, and that's not what we want to do. And I just remembered, right, fuel is on for when we do the checks there, and let's just drop the flaps, nice mechanical flaps, so we don't have to have power on or anything like that to be able to do that check. Right, quick look here, and let's have a look. Yep, that's all good, nice and sturdy. Aileron linkage is good. We haven't really got much in the way of fuel in the tip tanks, but we will have a quick look in. Should be able to see, oh, if I can get, there we go, tiny bit in the bottom, hardly anything to write home about. But as I say, this is a short flight, so we won't be using it. We've checked the lights working, and we can see now, because we're not getting blinded, we haven't got any cracks in the glass or anything like that. The tie down has been removed, so that's all good. Let's come round here. Check the wing tank. Yeah, that's all good. Something I just realised we didn't do back over here is pop underneath and just check for water or contamination. That's all good. Right, where did we get to before I distracted myself? We checked that, so that's all good. Quick pop underneath, we'll remove the wheel chock, and the condition of the tyres is all good. Come over here, undo that, and we'll check the fuel sump. And same again. Last few flew this aircraft a couple of weeks ago, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee you're not going to find something in there, so that's good. We've checked that. Close that, round to the front. We've got no birdies nesting in the front of the aircraft, and we've actually got a new prop on. Just fitted this today, but that's looking pretty good. No nicks and bumps there. We'll have a look at the oil. Again, hardly flown it since I last topped up the oil. Someone did actually very correctly point out, oh god, how many flights ago I did I think it was a live stream where I topped this up over 9, and they correctly pointed out that actually anything over 9 and it starts to leak out a bit, so that should probably be just slightly under 9, but that's fine. And it's a good colour as well. It simulates the colour of the oil. So if it's dark and murky, then we know we've overdone it. Yep, that's all good. Plenty of fuel in there. No problems. And a quick check underneath. Remove the wheel chock. Condition of the tyre is good. Pop down here. Check the stall warner flap is okay. That is fine. And we've already done that check, so we don't need to worry about the pitot heat. The tie down is removed. Condition of the landing light is good. Over here, remove. Let's have a quick look in. Tiny amount of fuel. As I said before, not really going to be using it, so not entirely worried about that. It's a short flight. All good there, no contamination. Round to the aileron. Nice and fixed. Flap good. That's good. The static source is clear. Right, tie down has been removed, so that's fine. Let's give the stabilator a... there we go. Just trying to find a click spot then. That's all good. Nice and sturdy, and also rudder as well. Everything is connected up nicely and snug. Static source there is clear, and we're not taking any baggage. We're only going to Inverness, so that is all good. And let's check the cabin door. Well, the baggage door is empty and locked. All good. We are good to go. Right. Okay, so we've done that. Back to this page here. Pre-flight is complete. Passengers, don't you go anywhere. Seatbelts are secure. He doesn't have a seatbelt. He's highly trained to sit in his seat and stay sat in his seat. He is squadron dog after all. Control locks have been removed. Parking brake is set. Just checking my physical controllers, so I'm going to do that again. Yep, that is set. Gear switch is down. There we go. Flaps are up. We can do that now after doing our test. Radios are off. Check, 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 check. Yep. Autopilot master is off. Avionics master is off. All electrical switches are off, which they are. And let's have a look at our circuit breakers. They are all good. Again, this is AccuSim, so it will simulate the circuit breakers popping out. I've been caught out with that before. Right, circuit rotating beacon. There we go. I accidentally just clicked the Navcom one when I was trying to go for that, so we'll pop that back in. Rotating beacon is on, and then we'll go to the engine start checklist. Fuel selector's desired tank, we'll keep it on both. Mixture is rich. Let me just come back here a bit, and then I can lock this off so it's not moving around so much. Mixture is rich, throttle is cracked. There we go. Prop fully forward. Carb heat is off. Master switch on. That's all good. Fuel pump on, and we'll check the pressure. Just wait for this to rise up here. There he goes. Got good fuel pressure, so that's absolutely fine. Can have the fuel pump off now. We now need to pump up the jams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and no, I'll leave it unlocked just in case. And let's open the little storm window, and as is tradition, as we put our mags to both, we shout out the window, "Get out the way!" We are in Glasgow after all. Sorry, clear prop. And now we engage the starter. Every start in the Comanche is different, so let's see what this one's like. There we go. Checking our T's and P's, oil pressure's good. Fuel pressure's good. That is fine. Okay, let's bring her back down. There we are. Close the storm window now. That's all good. Just listening out. You can hear everything in this aircraft, so I was just listening out there just to make sure that that door is actually properly closed. And it is, because I can tell not only by looking at it, by hearing as well. Isn't that great? Squadron Dog number 2. Brilliant. Yes, he's raring to go. Right, so engine is warming up. There we go. I need to just lean the mixture a bit while we're on the ground. Quick look here again, just make sure I've done everything. That's fine. That's good. Okay, so let us now have the avionics on. Also pop the nav lights on. There we go. Get the pitot heat on. I'm going to download my, or upload, import. That's a better, more accurate term. Import the flight plan.
TAS system test OK.
Import, and where are we? EGPF, not FF. Where down here it's going to be EGPF, EGPE. There we go. Perfect. Right, so we'll activate that. Yes to that. Quick look over here at my Navigraph. And what have we got? So we're doing the foil 3 alpha. Just double checking. Yeah, foil 3 alpha departure. So we'll come back here. Procedures. Departure. And it's the foil 3 alpha. And the transition is foil, which is already set up. Bloody marvellous. And the runway, yeah, we're anticipating runway 23. We haven't contacted ATC yet, but that is what we're anticipating, and hopefully that's what we'll get. So we've got that loaded in, so that's all good to go. Back to the map. Now looking across at SayIntentions, let's just move you away for a second. This is where we have to do the ATC stuff. So what do we got? ATS is 129.575. 129.575.
5. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if basic information service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Golf Glasgow International Airport, information. Golf 1250 Zulu. Wind 250 at 3. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, no cloud detected. Temperature 14. Dew point 10. QNH 1032. Transition level 60. Arriving and departing runway 5. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if basic information service is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Golf Glasgow International Airport, information. Golf 1250.
There we go. Right, so that's all set up, and it was information golf. Let's just check this is working. Glasgow ground, Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet with information golf, request IFR clearance. Should have probably said what we were then, shouldn't I? Probably should have said that we're a Piper Comanche.
Golf X-ray Juliet, information golf is current. Cleared to Inverness via the Foil 3 Alpha departure, then as filed. Departure runway 23, initial climb 6000, departure on 128.755, squawk 5255.
Cleared to Inverness via the Foil 3 Alpha departure, then as filed. Departure runway 23, initial climb 6,000 feet, departure on 128.755, squawk 5255, Golf X-ray Juliet. Ooh, that was very quiet. I think sounded like someone, he was talking with his hand over his mouth then. Right, so quick look at what we've done. I've set the QNH high pressure today. I have put the squawk in 5255. So that's all set up. We're going to be climbing to 6,000 feet on the QNH. And departure is going to be on 128.755. So when we switch to tower, I will be banging that into the box here, and then that's all good to go, so that when we take off I'm not messing about fiddling with switches and things, trying to punch in frequencies, because that would be most unprofessional of me to do so. Right, just having a look over here at my Navigraph charts just to get that all set up. Having a look at the departure, so that's all good. Happy with that, happy with that. Right, let's now switch to that. And so I'm just having a look at the diagram now here, just getting an idea. So hopefully we're just going to get taxi instructions to taxi to holding runway 23 via Alpha. Let's see what happens. So ground 121.705, that's what I've got in the box. Let's give it a whirl. Let's go ground, Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet, ready for taxi, runway 23. Again, probably should have said that I was on the GA apron.
Golf X-ray Juliet, taxi to runway 23 via Juliet Alpha Bravo. Contact tower on 118.805 when ready for departure.
Taxi to runway 23 via Juliet Alpha Bravo. Contact tower on 118.805 when ready for departure. Golf X-ray Juliet. He's certainly had his energy drinks today. So what was he saying? He was Alpha Bravo. So okay, yeah. I can see it now. Looking at Navigraph, and if I zoom in here, we just see Bravo there. So that's where we're heading for. Right. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Sort out the head tracking so that's lined up. Are we ready to go? Have we got everything set up that we should do? We've got the beacon on, the pitot heat on, we've got the nav lights on. That's on. This is on. Everything's on. Taxi primer is locked. Avionics master is on. Oh, engine just spluttering there a little bit. Radios are on. Check ammeter. Ammeter is good. We are producing amps. We've done the transponder. We've set the altimeter. The heading indicator. This is something we need to be wary of. This is ATC, and it will bite you on the bottom if you don't get it right. So we're going to have to get that sorted out pronto, because I can see it's already push it in. There we go. The wonderful thing about ATC, the thing that makes it so damn immersive, is that it will bite you on the bottom if you don't respect it, just like in the real aircraft. And I do love that. Right, let's remember to pull that out. Landing gear lamp is green. Yep, you can't really see it in the lights here. If I turn this down and turn off the nav lights, there we go. You can see that comes on a little bit brighter, but that is a good way of checking. If you're ever a little bit unsure because the ambient lighting, just pop the nav lights off and you can see that the green glows brighter. Right, nav lights we've done. Parking brake, release, and then we'll do the test. Okay, so that's all good. I was looking over here and I thought, oh yeah, let's just get this sorted out. There we go. And I'm going to go to my fuel payload and update. There we go. Quickly wipe that over there. Right, let's get moving. We've been told to taxi, and it would be rude not to. Pop that down. Let's just do a quick brake test. Brake's good. And we head over to Alpha. Let's watch out for the expensive jets. Don't want to ding any of those. It's a gorgeous weather. Hopefully we're going to see some nice scenery. I did notice cloud coming in over from the west there. So that hopefully will stay out of our way while we're doing our trip. I have a feeling that we're going to be landing in Inverness in grotty conditions. I just have a feeling. Seems to be what happens when I fly in Scotland and I take off in nice weather like this. I always end up landing in absolute clag. But certainly here in Glasgow it's beautiful today. Lovely weather. Concentrate on your taxiing, sunshine, and stop looking out at the scenery. Quick look down at the instruments, everything looks okay. Come round. Keeping on the centre line of the taxiway. I mentioned this on videos before, but I have somewhat become a jack of all trades and a master of none, and it is leading me to wonder, with the limited sim time I get these days, my day job is extremely busy with things that are going on at the moment, and I get very limited sim time, so I really do wonder if I should be focusing on some key things rather than trying to do so much. The reason why I'm coming over
Golf
here
X-ray Juliet, contact tower on 118.805. Have a good afternoon.
is because I'm just going to do a quick run up. There we go. Tower on 118.805. Golf X-ray Juliet. Okay, so let's switch to the tower. Engine still a little bit too lean. I just caught it there before it went out. 8805, and we will transfer. Okay, right, let's get the checklist up again, and we'll have a look at our run up. Right, I'm going to lock that off there. Right, position into wind, pretty much, yep, 4 knots head on, 1 knot crosswind component. Brakes hold, fuel quantity check, fuel is good, we've got full main tanks, so absolutely happy with that. Fuel selectors are on both. Throttle 2000 RPM, well let's put mixture as required, so we're going to put it to rich. Throttle 2000 RPM. Engine a little bit throaty, probably because we've got a bit of plug fouling, although actually it seems better now. All our instruments are good, everything's working as it should do, so happy with that. We'll do a quick mag check. Wow. So our left mag, sorry, our right mag, not good. Left mag is very good. Okay, interesting. Right, gonna do a quick prop cycle. I haven't forgotten about the mags, by the way. Okay, so then we're going to bring the RPM back to, come back 1800, and is that steady? That's steady, so that's still good. Whack that back up and let's come back down. See cylinder number 6, there was a warning there, just letting us know not to overheat. Right, let's come back down on here. Now let's investigate this mag thing. This is where ACCIM gets interesting. So maintenance, maintenance, engine analyzer. Okay, so magneto, see that. I can see there that tiny dot there means that that spark plug, and you can see it there as well, they are fouled because of the fact that the engine wasn't quite lean enough. And also if we look here, we've actually got a little bit of carb icing building up, which is quite interesting. Got no visible moisture, but a little bit of carb icing building up. So let's have a quick look at the mag with that, if I can lock that off. There we go. So if I put it back onto right mag, yeah, that's where our, you can see our fouled up plugs are on the, are on that one. Okay, interesting. Just give them a blast. Engine's running sweet. So we'll have a look at that once we get into the air. Just try not to go too lean, but we need to lean nonetheless. Okay. Right, so contact tower, we need to do that now. While we're over here by the runway, let's have the landing lights on, we'll have the strobe light on. Okay, and we will now point ourselves back towards the runway, get back to the holding point. So yeah, that's an interesting facet of ACCIM there, the fact that we've got the plugs fouling. Probably should have leaned it a little bit earlier perhaps, but we've given it a bit of a blast now, so hopefully that will have helped. Right, so here we go, we're on runway 23, I'm going to, what are we up here, 229, so I'm going to set that to 229. There we go. Just another quick check, nothing's gone awry with that. That's kind of bang in the middle, and that isn't quite bang in the middle, so let's address that. There we go. Otherwise, I think we are ready to go. Glasgow Tower, Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet, holding runway 23, ready for departure. Nothing around. I haven't got multiplayer or...
Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet, Glasgow Tower, runway 23, winds 250 at 3, cleared for takeoff.
Copy the winds, cleared for takeoff, runway 23, Golf X-Ray Juliet. Yeah, I haven't got any AI or multiplayer on, but out of habit, always just have a check. Squadron Dog number 2, you ready? Of course he's ready. The wonderful thing about Squadron Dog number 2 is he doesn't comment on the flying. He's certainly not what you would call a back seat or even a front seat pilot, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's we will just, there we go. Right, so fuel is fully rich, everything around is good, T's and P's are good, happy with that, all our lights are on that should be, and carpet is off. Okay, let's go. Engine's a little bit throaty there, isn't it? Engine definitely feels a little rough. Gear up. I always find flying the, one sec, what did they say approach was going to be? Come back, 128.755, 128.755. Really should have done that earlier. Naughty boy. Yeah, flying ACUSIM is quite often a learning experience. And little things crop up, and it's always interesting to see what it's going to throw at you. And as we saw there, quite possibly, because I was late leaning the engine, but we definitely had some couple of plugs.
Golf X-Ray Juliet, contact departure on 128.755.
Contact departure on 128.755, Golf X-Ray Juliet. 128.755. There we go, flick that. Glasgow departure, Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet on the Foil 3 Alpha departure, climbing to 6,000 feet, passing through 2,000 feet.
Golf Alpha Papa 3 Juliet, Glasgow radar identified, climb 5,000.
Climb 5,000, Golf X-Ray Juliet. So we're just staying on our departure, giving us climb to...
Golf X-Ray Juliet, climb altitude 5,000 feet.
Yes, that's what you said. Climb altitude 5,000 feet, Golf X-Ray Juliet. Interesting. So we're climbing into some nasty cloud now. How dare it's destroying the view, but that's how quickly that cloud has come in. So I suspect we're going to be seeing a bit of cloud as we go, and also be interesting to see what we see in the way of car
Golf
bars.
X-ray Juliet, contact Glasgow approach on 119.1.
Contact Glasgow approach on 119.1. Golf X-ray Juliet. We're playing frequency roulette today. Glasgow approach, Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet on the foil 3 Alpha departure, climbing to 5,000 feet, passing 3,500 feet.
Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet, Glasgow approach, identified. Good afternoon, Paisley. Renfrewshire QNH 1032.
QNH 1032 Golf X-ray Juliet. Yeah, that's good. Still got that in the box. Let's commence our turn now. Everything's looking good. Yeah, we can still see some of the hills. It's alright, Squadron Dog number 2. You are going to see a bit of the ground, fella. He's quite keen to see if he sees any pheasants. That's the only reason he's come. He does like to look out for them. Right, let's just keep an eye on our altitude. Running nicely, so we don't ready to turn a little bit too high there, so we don't need to worry too much about carb icing at the moment, although I will have a look at the visual just so we can have a look at that. I always think it's interesting to see what the aircraft is doing, and the wonderful thing about the tablet is that you can have a look and see what the aircraft is doing. So we're 100 feet above the assigned altitude. So let's just come back on that. Got 2020 on the engine and the RPM. Everything else is looking good. Oh, interesting. I forgot to put the fuel pump on. Just realised. I just went to turn the fuel pump off and realised that because I didn't go to the takeoff checklist page, I went from the run-off checklist page and run-up checklist page, hid the tablet, didn't do the proper full takeoff checklist, and I didn't have the fuel pump on. Naughty boy. There you go. I did say at the beginning, I always do try and point out my mistakes because they will be made, but no doubt some people have already put in the comments, you didn't put the fuel pump on. I know, very naughty of me. It does highlight why checklists are so important, and I don't say that with any kind of humour. I mean that quite seriously. It's amazing how a simple thing like the fuel pump, because I was distracted by what was going on with the mags, and my mind was thinking, okay, so in the real life situation, would you really be taking off having done a mag check like that? you wouldn't have the benefit of the tablet to see that it's the plugs are fouled, would you really do it? And I was kind of thinking all these things, and then of course took off without looking at the checklist. It's very interesting. I also find making a video doing this sort of thing, or streaming, adds a certain layer as well, because I'm concentrating on flying, trying to. I'm also thinking of the words, what I am going to say to you. I'm thinking about how the video is going to progress on the flight with how things are. And there's all these additional things as well, which is why we're not really flying a nice constant course as we should do. I'm kind of wishy-washying about a bit because I just drifted. So I'm just coming back. There we go. All is good. Try not to climb, fella. Bit more trim. Trim is your friend and all that. There we go. Once we get onto the straighter bit, I will whack it onto autopilot so that my brain has got a bit more talking capacity. This autopilot is an old school autopilot, so it doesn't respond well to kind of tight wiggles in the track. You have to kind of feed it onto the track using heading mode, but what I'm going to do is just hand fly it. We're going to hand fly it onto the straighter bit that you can kind of see. If you look down at the GPS, you can see that after this wiggle that we've got ahead, we'll be on a straighter course up to Inverness, and then we can have a look at the outside world. Looks rather beautiful, these autumnal colours. Suddenly occurred to me, this could well be the last video I make in Flight Sim 2020. That's interesting. What does that say? 6,000 feet. So on there it's saying that we should be at 6,000 feet, but ATC has only cleared us to 5,000 feet. So that is where we will sit. Yeah, flights in 2024. I kind of feel I should be, at the risk of sounding like a right grumpy sod, I feel like I should be a little bit more excited than I actually am, and I think that's because after seeing some of the initial screenshots it looked radically different, and then having seen some screenshots of people who have gone for the early access, it doesn't look as different as some of those other screenshots indicated, but I know that from talking to people who've got it, they are kind of saying, look, this is pretty incredible. So yeah, I feel like I should be, I keep seeing posts where people are kind of counting down the days and all that kind of thing, and I almost feel disconnected from it like the Grinch at Christmas. But I know that when it actually does get released, I'm going to be sitting there like a grinning idiot going, oh my god, this is amazing. And no doubt in the first video that I do, I'll be waffling on about how beautiful the scenery is and all that sort of thing. So here we are doing our wiggle. Let's concentrate on our altitude there. Let's ease out here. So yeah, what are you most excited about with 2024? Stick it in the comments below. I'm interested to know, because I know a lot of you people watching this will know a lot more than I do about Flight Sim 2024. And this is going to sound a little bit critical now after what I just said before. I purposely not really looked much at. I've not really watched any videos. The YouTube is awash at the moment with people posting 2024 videos. I guess it's a really well, it's certainly a topic of interest of a lot of people, and also it's a great way of getting hits. But I purposely avoided all that because I kind of want to experience it myself for the first time, if that makes any sense. Watch the altitude there, sunshine. We've still only been cleared to 5,000 feet. Let's lean out a bit. Not using the engine management display there, just looking down at the EGT. We can see the temperatures rising now that I've leaned out. And after this turn here, we can put it onto the autopilot. Again, watch the altitude. Now we will just do a gentle turn. Not too gentle, sunshine. Looking at the needle now. The HSI. Overshoot it a little bit. So let's just ease that up a bit. Now, let's get the autopilot fired up. It'll go through its little checks. So that's now good to go. So we're going to put it on put it on track, and then we will put it on alt. And now hands off. That's all good. Checking the engine settings there. So T's and P's good. That's okay. I'm going to turn the landing lights off now. Everything else can stay on, and happy with that. Let's take a look outside. So beautiful scenery, isn't it? Even in the simulator, it's lovely being up here in Scotland. I'm not going to waffle on as I always do, flying up here about the scenery and all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely one of my favourite places to fly. And nice to be doing some GA stuff. If you didn't catch the last flight or the last video, we were in the Spitfire over in Norway, but I thought it was about time that I did some flying up in the Comanche again. It really is, the Comanche is the pinnacle of GA flying in this sim, for me anyway. It's beautiful in that it's good old...
Golf X-Ray Juliet. Contact Scottish Info on 125.905.
Good old steam gauges and all that sort of thing. Contact Scottish Info on 125.905. Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet. I almost replied with my old VA call sign then, out of habit. Right, what are we? 125.905. Scottish Info, Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet, level at 5,000 feet.
Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet, Scottish info identified. Good afternoon, QNH 1032.
QNH 1032, Golf X-Ray Juliet. It's in one of those interesting moments there. So I said I was level at 5,000 feet. In the past, I've also said, you know, something like, you know, inbound to and the next waypoint. And then someone commented, or someone told me that you don't necessarily need to say where you are heading into. But part of me is thinking I should have said there, you know, Scottish info, Golf Alpha Papa X-Ray Juliet, inbound to Inverness, level at 5,000 feet. Don't know. But here we are anyway. Let's have a quick look at everything. Yes, everything is good. Let's check out the tablet, because there are some things that I haven't thought of, and while we're here, let's look at that. Noise cancelling, amazing, isn't it? How they simulated that as well. So we can see now our sparks are flying. We've certainly killed off the foul plugs by running up the engine before, so that's all good. I'm not brave enough to do a mag check in the air, but I would hazard a guess now that if I was to do a mag check, then we'd see that everything was fine. What else? We can see we've got a little bit of carb icing here, just a tiny amount, but we're not necessarily seeing that in terms of performance at the moment anyway. If I didn't have the ability to see that, then I wouldn't necessarily notice it. We are not in visible moisture at the moment, although we have been through it and there is some ahead. What I will do is, just in case you haven't got this aircraft, I'm sure you probably have, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to pull the carb heat on and watch the ice. You see the ice? We just added another layer of ice there. Interesting. So let's pull the carb heat on. We see the temperature of this gas here rises slightly because we've done that, and boom, the ice is gone. And as soon as I put the carb heat back in, you can see that the ice is appearing again. So I'm just gonna open it up a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, just to warm the air as we fly through it, and then that will be nice and happy. Leaning is good. We can see here green means economical, or best economy. 6 and 5 are a little bit hotter, but they're still a kind of a shade of green. Not sure what kind of shade of green you'd call that. Pea soup with mustard in shade of green, but that's not too bad. So anyway, let's now anything else you want to look at? Electrical system. Again, if you don't know the aircraft, if you haven't got the aircraft, it also, we can have a look at the electrical system, see what's happening there. We can see the alternator is sending power through here to the cockpit. You can see the battery is nicely charged, so that's all good to go. And we can see our breakers. This also shows you that all our breakers are in. We would see them, of course, popped out down here as well if we had any issues, but that's all good. Okay, right, anything else I want to show you? I don't think so. This is kind of cool. This gives you some information on the environment. We can see what our headwind, what our crosswind component is. We can see here what the actual wind is and where it's coming from. See the outside air temperature, the visibility. So it's all useful stuff. I think the main takeaway from all that is, if you're learning to fly the aircraft in the simulator, it's a great way of having everything at your fingertips. I know I remember a long time ago now seeing a couple of comments saying, well, it's a little bit unrealistic because you wouldn't have that in the aircraft. But if you are learning to fly, and you're learning to fly in the Comanche, which is highly recommended, by the way, just because it's so damn realistic, then having the ability there to see that information in the same way, seeing the engine analyzer, in the same way that being able to see the carb icing there building up, you wouldn't have that in the real aircraft. But if you're learning to fly, it's a good way of seeing it. The first time I ever saw carb icing in the simulator was in the A2A Comanche in FSX, where I was, for want of a better phrase, dicking around in it, and I'd climbed through cloud. I was above cloud, and then I dived back down through cloud, and I couldn't understand why I'd suddenly lost power, and decided to do a dead stick landing at a nearby aerodrome. Videos on the channel, by the way, right back at the beginning. And it was only once I got on the ground and I was clear of the active that I started having a look around at things to try and figure out what it would be, and then thought to myself, hang on a minute, this could be carb icing. So put the carb heat on and engine came back to life. So that for me was the lesson learned, and you can see actually in the Comanche the carb icing possibilities are quite high, as we saw then. So always worth keeping an eye on that. Unfortunately, it's hidden by the aircraft over here, but we are actually going over a dam at this point. Let's pop outside again so you can have a look. Let's turn the... there we go. Turn the noise cancelling off, so that you can hear the engine a little bit. But it's kind of cool that they modelled that. The fact that you can, it's an attention to detail that A2A are very good at, and again it just adds another nice bit of immersion. What do you reckon, Squadron Dog? All good? Yeah, he's a happy little fella. Do love a tip tank. So, what are you flying at the moment? Always good to know. I, due to my very limited time, am either flying the H145, the Comanche, or the Spitfire at the moment, and when possible, trying to get in the Huey and the F190, FW190 rather. But time is so limited at the moment. There's so many aircraft I want to fly as well. It's frustrating. As I say, my day job has gotten very busy. It's taking over the time that I've got available to fly, and also taking over the time where I can actually take time out to plan videos and all that kind of stuff, which is why well, in fact I didn't do a video last week, and I very nearly didn't do a video this week, and I thought I'm going to do an IFR flight. I need a bit of practice, and I thought, why not make a video out of it? Why not? If you're new to the channel, it's not the kind of channel, it's not a review channel as such, although every now and again there are some reviews. It's more a case of me, someone who's just really into flight sim, doing some flying online, bringing you along for the trip, and having a chin wag along the way, even though it's...
Golf X-ray Juliet. Expect the ILS runway 23 approach into Inverness. Anticipate descent in about 20 minutes. Say the word if you want to descend sooner.
Even though it is a little bit one way, but I imagine you talking back. Right. Expect the ILS 23 approach into Inverness. Expecting descent in 20 minutes. Golf X-ray Juliet. There we go. So we've got the ILS runway 23 approach. So we'll go into there. Procedures. Approach ILS 23. I'm going to leave it on vectors because I reckon, well, that's probably what they're going to do. I've noticed in the past that I plumb in a transition point and expect that we're going to fly a perfect standard arrival or something like that, and then the ATC vectors us off, so we'll leave it there, and that's all good to go. Happy with that. So that's now plumbed in, and then I'm going to go over to let me lock this off so the head isn't popping around like an idiot, and then I'm going to whack it in on my Navigraph charts as well. So where was it? ILS runway 23, and we'll put transition final, because I reckon that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to, at some point, I think he's going to vector us off and do it that way. That's my prediction. So let's come back over here. I do love how AccuSeason does change the feel of the ground, and I'm interested to see, by the looks of it, in Flight Sim 2024, it has got something built into it. So I'm really interested to see how that all works. I think one of the interesting things about 2024 is going to be, you know, how do add-ons play and all that kind of thing. And I'm seeing that, you know, from developers that, you know, some are saying not a problem, pretty much 100% will work, or there might be a couple of things that need a workaround. Others are saying that there's a fair bit of work to do. So I think we're just going to have to initially see how it goes, aren't we? See what's there, see what's available. I tend not to fly default aircraft, although I'll definitely be flying that Super Puma from High Performance Group. And Got Gravel have got some aircraft in there as well. The Draco, of course, or Draco, depending on how you pronounce it. That is, I think that's in there as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how those aircraft are, and certainly I think what I'm going to be doing initially is setting up all my controllers using default aircraft and testing, and then we'll see how it goes with the third party. Really lucky with this weather. It's not bad at all, is it? So we've got Loch Eric down there. Very splendid. If I look over there, if I can try and somehow get round Squadron Dog number 2, Blair Athol is over in that direction, and we're just coming up to the A9 up on the nose. Just see it in that valley down there. Look around, everything is good. Happy with that. So when I do flights like this, that I do really feel and realise that I need to do them more. I think doing IFR flying with ATC, and especially while trying to make a video, certainly piles on the pressure and is a good way to learn. But of course you've got to do it often enough so that the lessons stick. And that's kind of my problem, in that I really don't do it often enough. So I'll do a flight, I'll think, must remember that next time, and then I won't do another one for a while, and then you forget silly things like fuel and that sort of thing. Just having a look at you see we've got a little bit of gyro drift going on there, so let's pop that in, just correct that. There we go. someone pointed out in a recent video flying the Comanche that by the time I'd reached the destination I had quite a bit of gyro drift in and I'd done nothing to correct it. So I have tried to learn that lesson and I am keeping an eye on it. Well, that's what I wanted to quickly look at before when I brought this up, because I've done nothing to look at the heating, the temperature inside, but we're not getting any warnings. Where did I go? That's okay. We have got the cabin heat on. If I get rid, you can see here we've got the cabin heat on, so we are getting some hot air coming in. And he seems alright, he seems quite happy. I think my microphone is interfering with the head tracking because that's a little bit better. You can see it's jumping around a bit because I think my boom is in the way of the lights. Yeah, let's see if I can pull that down a bit. Is that better? No, it hasn't made a difference. But that's what's happening there. Much happier now that I'm using my head tracking again. I did have the Toby head tracker, which I've since sold on eBay. I did try it. I tried lots of different settings, played with lots of different bits on it, but I just couldn't get the same feeling of accuracy and control that I had with good old traditional head tracking. So I'm back, very happily back with my Grass Monkey King Puck. And I've got a new headset as well, which is where the interference between the microphone boom and the lights are coming in. If you imagine, I've got a thing stuck to the side of my headset that's got LEDs on that a thing sitting on top of my monitor is looking at, and every now and again if I look that way, for example, the microphone boom is getting in the way of the lights, so it just, you see, it's just sticking a little bit at times. So I need to figure out a way around that, because it's going to be a right pain in the backside. Right, move it a bit closer. Move closer. No, that's not made a difference at all. Apart from the fact it's probably deafening you. So let's move that down there. T's and P's are good. Everything is fine. Oil pressure is good. Fuel pressure is good. Fuel is flowing nicely, oil temperature is good, cylinder head temperature is good, everything is playing as it should. It is one of the facets of flying AccuSim that things can go wrong and you never know quite what's going to happen. So it's always, you know how like with some default aircraft you can get away with just whacking it on and off you go and you don't have to worry about anything. In this aircraft you have got to keep your eyes out and be aware of what's going on, because you never know what's going to happen and it can bite you. Interesting to see also that the SayIntentions is, add a little pause there. There we go. The SayIntentions is working really well today. I don't tend to use it very often, so it's probably unfair to rate it on the times that I do, but the last couple of times it's done a couple of funny little things, including where was I flying? I was flying from I was flying from Belfast to Glasgow, and I got handed to Belfast approach, and then it never handed me to centre. And it was like it kind of got stuck, and then suddenly it's like it woke up and everything came to life again. But so far, you know, this is really good. It's the ATC seems to be working really nicely. And in some ways, especially with the monthly fee, I sometimes think for the few times I actually fly with it, what's the point in me having it? But then doing an IFR flight like this, it wouldn't be the same without the ATC. It just adds to the realism. And some people might say, well, why are you flying IFR anyway? It's a beautiful day. The weather is great. I bet someone's already put a comment on the video. But the reason I'm doing it is because it's practice. This is all practice. This is all about learning the ropes, keeping on top of things, learning by mistakes. And that's why I'm flying IFR on a beautiful day. God, I'd love to be down there camping. Just in case you want to know where we are, you can't really see it because it's under the wing, but in the distance there is Loch Lagan, where if you did watch it, not many people have, just, I don't know if you can see the pointer, but it's over there. That's where Monica the Glen was filmed. And then if I just zoom out on the map here, just so I can be 100% sure I know what I'm looking for, we're just about to fly over Newtonmore. Over there is Kingussie, and off into Aviemore further out, and then you've got the Cairngorms there, Cairngorm National Park, and that is Loch Inch that's dead centre there at the moment. Very nice part of the world, and I will resist from starting to wax lyrical and getting all dewy-eyed about it, but as I've said before, I am an Englishman. I spent a few years living up at Lossiemouth, and I fell in love with the area up here, and as much as I'm an Englishman, I always feel very at home here, and I'm always homesick for this area. It is absolutely beautiful, it really is. There's something about the landscape that speaks to a part of you deep inside. There you go. Right, shut up and come back to Earth, you idiot. It's a flight sim video. You're sitting in the spare room of a house down south in England. But there you go. So, T's and P's good, fuel is good, happy with that. Let's have a quick look at the engine analyzer. I left a bit of carb heat on. Let's see how that is working for us. All good, we are clear. There's a slight, got a cloud just to the right of us here, but there's a slight mist. I'm going to pop the carb heat back off, and let's see, yeah, straight away you see some ice building up there. I guess there's just a slight mist, and also it is cold. Although it's not that cold. Outside air temperature is 9 degrees. You can see a little bit of snow on the hills. I did see a picture actually of snow on Cairngorm, so they have already started getting a bit of snow up here on the high ground. Not necessarily sticking permanently, but I think they have had a bit. If anyone is watching this who's up from there, SAS Centurion, if you're watching this, mate, tell me what it's like. But everything is good. Right, let's get rid of the tabletto for the time being. We are inbound to Gussie now. 2.8 to 2.7 nautical miles from Gussie, and we're not far at all from Inverness. We've probably, if we were to fly straight overhead now instead of messing about with procedures and things, probably only about 10 minutes away, I should think. 10, 11, 12 minutes. Something like that. Up on the nose, can't really see it, but in that valley down there we've got Cognashi. Just trying to give you a little idea of what we're looking at as we come in. And we'd be crossing over the River Findhorn, and over there you can't really see it because it's hidden by the hills, but Inverness, Loch Ness is just over that way. But no monster hunting today. Over there is Inverness itself. If you haven't caught it on the channel, done a bit of live streaming with Hems in the H145 out of there. That's always good fun. And Lossie is over in that direction, isn't it? Squadron Dog number 2. He's great, he is. He's great. Why would you fly with the dog as your co-pilot? I should say this is all thanks to the Got Gravel pack, the animals pack. It just adds a little something. It's a really realistic aircraft. It's really realistic scenery. But there's just something quite nice about doing flights, especially when I'm not making a video, when I'm just flying in the Comanche somewhere. There's just something quite nice about having your dog next to you, even if you still
Golf X-Ray Juliet, whenever you'd like, descend and maintain flight level 040.
Descend and maintain flight level 040, and I'll do it now. Golf X-Ray Juliet. Now, interesting, he's given flight level. He has given flight level, so we need to switch to 10.
Golf X-Ray Juliet, descend and maintain altitude 2500, QNH 1030.
He's changed his mind. Descend and maintain altitude 2,500 feet, QNH 1030, Golf X-Ray Juliet. Right, 1030, so let's knock that back now. 1030, and we're going to take the autopilot off now.
Golf X-Ray Juliet, turn right heading 035 vectors for the ILS runway 23 approach.
Turn right heading 035 vectors for the ILS runway 23 approach, Golf X-Ray Juliet. So what did you say, 035?
Golf X-Ray Juliet, descend and maintain altitude 2500.
Descend and maintain altitude 2500, Golf X-Ray Juliet. There we go. Right, keeping an eye on everything. We have a rate of descent. I'm going to whack the old landing lights on now. Everything else is good. Let's quickly get up the checklist here. Flight information. What's your heading? Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Still a reasonable distance, so I'm not going to start messing about with a lot of these things, but always good to anticipate. And after forgetting the fuel pump on our departure, I'm certainly going to be using the checklist like a sensible chap. There we go. It's amazing how many wind farms there are now. It's I guess it's nice to have a clean form of energy, but it sometimes seems a bit of a shame that the hills and mountains are dotted with these huge wind farms now. I did actually recently, someone was talking about the number of birds that get killed by them. Because they get sucked in through the blades, and I guess either they get hit by the blades or maybe something else is going on as well. Right, so I'm going to do it on this rather than the navgraph chart, so you can see. So waypoint info, airport. We have got Inverness dialed in. We want frequencies. ILS 23. I'm going to make that the active. There we go. Just double checking, seeing as we're over lumpy bumpy ground, we have got the correct QNH. We are still descending. We are on the correct heading. Speed is okay. Fuel is good. Fuel pressure, oil pressure good. So everything's working there. I've already put the landing lights on as we start manoeuvring in the vicinity and all that. Let's keep that descent in. Weather is just an absolute charm today. Visibility is great, and I mean at the moment we've got if I look at little nav map, that's telling me we've got a 14 knot crosswind, but the aircraft is just flying beautifully. Not much in the way of turbulence. Check our heading. Trim a little bit. Also going to do so we need to level off at 2,500. There we go, and let's have a quick look. At check for gyro drift. That's what I'm trying to say, but I'm concentrating. 3. So we just need to tweak that. That way a bit. There we go. Okay, we've gained a bit of height, so we just need to lose that again. We're still on 3.5. I knew it was going to vector us. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Right, boom, boom. Activating vectors to final there, so that's all good. This is the TDS GTN-XI, an amazing piece of kit. Absolutely love it. It's the only GPS I use now where I've got a choice. Absolutely love it. And now you've got charts in there as well. I'm going to I need to set up my VR again, so I can have a play with charts in VR and see how that looks. Right, T's and P's are all good. Happy with that. Still on our heading. You can see where he's. You can see what the controller is thinking as he's vectoring us this way. That's a little bit of trim. Trim is your friend. Right. Let's get the old checklist up. So, autopilot master is off. Fuel pump, we're going to put it on. There's a thrill. Fuel selectors are on both. Fuel levels check, good. Mixture rich. Prop fully forward. checking the altitude there. Carb heat. I'm going to yeah. Oh, that's already off. Let's trim again. Just need to adjust the trim now that we've changed the prop. There we go. Airspeed, we need to come down to 120 when we're a little bit closer, and then the rest is standard issue. So we'll move that. Don't I talk a load of cobblers sometimes? Right, that's all good. Happy with that. I'm going to anticipate the radio change, so approach is 122.605. 122.605. That is according to
left heading 015.
left heading 015 Golf X-ray Juliet. The reason why I'm pausing there is because I can see another instruction has come up at the same time, simultaneously, saying turn left heading 365. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to be very naughty and no, it's turn left heading 360. So I got turn left heading 015 and turn left heading 360 at exactly the same time, but it didn't vocalize the 360. So I'm going to stay heading 360 Golf X-ray Juliet. That's really getting, I don't know if you heard that, the SayIntentions simulates the radio signal weakening because of terrain and all that sort of thing. But I'm not far from the airport at all, but you could hardly hear that. Mind you, that's, to be fair, that's Scottish control, isn't it? So you really had to listen out for that. So I'm interested to see what happens now, because just to recap, the controller said turn left heading 015 said, and then I could see on the screen that it said turn left heading 015 and at the same time turn left heading 360. I heard the 015, so I said I was turning left onto 015, and it said heading 015 approved, as if I'd asked for it. I've then since said turn left heading 360, just to wake up the controller to the fact that I'm going to go with his second instruction, which was 360, and he said heading 360 approved. I hope that that hasn't broken anything and that the approach and everything will still kind of continue. But I was using my ears, as you would do in the real thing, rather than my eyes when I responded initially. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, it's looking good, as you can see. The magenta. Oh,
Golf X-ray Juliet, 4 miles from CF23. Turn left heading 300. Descend and maintain altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 23 approach.
Turn left heading 300. Descend and maintain altitude 2000 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 23 approach. Golf X-ray Juliet. Okay, so 300, 2000 feet. 300, 2000 feet. See a lovely little boat out there. I've got that Aerosoft North Sea pack, which will be injecting that, I'm sure. Right, 300, descending to 2000 feet. Lovely jubbly. Looking at the ILS. Be careful. There we go, and the airport is that away. So maintain our heading, maintain our altitude. Let's just bring that back a little bit. Come back now and power a little bit so we can lose a bit of speed as we gain a bit of height. Just to bring that in, and then let's smoothly turn. Left it a bit late, I can see already. We're going to fly through that. Should really have turned onto that a little bit earlier just to make it a bit smoother. You can see the rigs out there in the Firth. So we've overshot. We're going to have to come back on that. There we go. Now this is where I just remember.
Golf X-ray Juliet. Contact Inverness Tower on 122.605.
Contact Inverness Tower on 122.605. Golf X-ray Juliet. Yeah, this is one of the things I remember now where it's broken for me before is when I've called established on the localizer. 122.605. Oh, that's handy. It's already in. I wonder if that's because I changed the ILS. It's quite clever how the GTM works. Oh, get it back. Right. Inverness Tower, Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet on the ILS runway 23, established on the localizer. That was a bit garbled.
Golf Alpha Papa X-ray Juliet, Inverness Tower, roger. Continue approach, winds 2-60 at 11, runway 23, clear to land.
Copy the winds, cleared to land, runway 23, Golf X-ray Juliet. That was a really good example of an AI voice. That was so realistic, wasn't it? Something that I have noticed is that I dropped altitude quite a bit there, because I was last cleared to what was it, 2,000 feet until established, and I lost some altitude when I didn't really need to. Right, let's have a look now. Let's come back on the power. Shut up, gear horn. We don't need to lose any more height at this point. Let's get this nice and centralized. Fuel pumps on, landing lights are on. Speed coming off. I'm going to drop the gear now. Look down, green, good. One flap. Stop the descent. Because we are well below the glide path. Should have stayed at 2,000 back then when I was meant to. Going to be intercepting the glide path shortly. Go, so we can have a little descent now. Start bringing the speed back as well. Have some more flappage. According to little nav map, we've got 9 knots pretty much on the nose. I'm tending to use the Vazis more than the ILS now, which is a little bit naughty because I'm meant to be doing an ILS approach. So at this point I'm doing it more visually rather than instrumentally.
$500.
Blown around a little bit. A little bit gusty. Some more flap. Too shy. And kill the flap straight away, kill any residual lift, and we're down. Oh, wonderful. Right, come on ATC, talk to me. I'm going to come off here.
Golf X-Ray Juliet. Taxi to parking at your discretion and stay on this frequency.
Taxi to parking at my discretion, Golf X-Ray Juliet. Golf X-Ray Juliet, it's clear the active. You know, I can hear it already. That's one of those. That's going to be
Golf X-Ray Juliet. Departure frequency is 128.755.
That's my fault. So the fuel pump off. That's my fault. I think I've confused it by saying is clear the active. I don't think really. Probably didn't need to say that, to be fair. It's a habit I've got from somewhere and I don't know where. I don't remember when I did some real world flying training donkeys years ago. I don't know if it was something that we had to do there. I did it at Cranfield, and I don't know if it was a standard thing there that we had to say clear the active, but there's some part of me that's saying I meant to say that, even though it's probably incorrect. So here we are at Inverness. When I was a wee lad, I used to fly here a few times. Always lovely landing here. Wasn't so great leaving here, if I'm honest. So let's find somewhere nice to park up. I think we started off park near the posh jets, so I don't see why we can't finish off parked near the posh jets. So let's follow up here. Gorgeous weather, so lucky with this weather today. Here we go. We will we'll come round up here. Where can we stick it? We'll just put it here for the time being, I think. Parked in with the Cessnas. quite busy, isn't it? There we go. Keep going forward a bit. There we go. Fantastic. Right, parking brake on. Let's get the checklist up. After landing, we've done that. We've done the flaps, done the strobes, done the fuel pump. I was off. Mixture. Oh, look at that. Should have leaned that. Right. Very lucky that we haven't got fouling. Should really have leaned that. I mean, that is a basic thing that I should have done pretty much as soon as we came off the runway there. Again, too busy yakking to you guys. Right, shutdown. Parking brake is set. Done. Radios off. There we go. And avionics off. That's all good. Master switch. Let's just turn the lights off while I'm here. And master switch off. There we go. And mags off. All good. All good. Happy with that? Okay, there you go. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this flight. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're still here, then thank you for still being here. And if you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing to the channel and all that cheesy stuff. But it's been wonderful having you along. It's always a pleasure flying the Comanche. And I look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon now. Take care. Bye-bye.